Situation that crime in my neighborhood or your neighborhood, we all should be concerned about. Doesn't matter what the color, we got to be concerned. But if it's more than concern, we got to get involved. You know, we got to get involved and make things happen. So, what person can go into those neighborhoods and bring economic empowerment? I'm in business. Been in business for numbers of different years. My company may not do as much as your company, but it's a little small company we did last year. Some of the neighborhood of $230 million. So it may not be big as some of the people here, but at least be able to make a living and be able to put back into the community. All right. So by doing that, my experience from a business person, all right, help pays out to all segments of life, all business people's life. They're having people that cannot afford certain things in their community, and being poor and struggling doesn't discriminate. Say that. Doesn't discriminate. You got poor here, poor here, poor here, poor here. But even the middle class is struggling today. That's why we invest that $1.2 million to help with gas. We didn't just do it in the black community. We did it in the white, Latino community, Asian community, and all communities. You know, and we will continue to do that. I put today, my family and I put today $5 million invested out of our own pocket to make a statement that we're not going to be bought by anybody. So those are just some of the reasons that we decided to run for mayor, and we decided that we want to get rid of these red light cameras.
Yes.
You cannot just try to build things on tricking people that cannot afford it. Right? We got to find other ways of balancing the budget. When I have to balance my budget, I have to cut back things. You know, most politicians, when they want to fix a problem, they raise taxes. That's not the answer. You know, we got to get in here and keep our citizens from moving out of the state, out of town. We got to lower these taxes. Keep people from going to Gary, Indiana, Hammond, Indiana, spending their dollars over there. We have to stop running out of citizens out of town. We have to cut the budget. I say that if you want to raise taxes, the politicians, they should cut their paycheck. Then they'll stop doing it.
Amen.
Yes, so you are a very successful businessman. And my question is, how did you start your business?
Question, how did I start my business? I started my business with grassroots. We are, once you get my book, you get a chance to read it. We came from a family of 11 sisters and brothers. We were sharecroppers. We picked cotton, we chopped cotton, things of that nature. But for 13 years, we worked, and we did not get paid 1 penny. For 13 years, not 1 penny. Then when we did get a job, what happened was that we made 20 cents per hour. And so we just worked. So we ran away from home at age 13. We didn't get a chance to get back to school, right? But I had a good education as related to not what you call the human kind of education. My education is born again. Make that clear, right? Right. That's my education. We call born again, but it also calls mother will. All right. The hard way, which we struggle. You know. Now, mind you, we still work today 12, 15, 16 some hours a day. So we got to working so hard, we just continue to continue to work hard all our life. You know. So we really don't feel bad about it because working hard to help others, that's when you enjoy things.
Yeah.
You know. So working hard for me is kind of like a vacation. You know? To try to kind of help, knowing that whatever time that the Lord give me a day on earth, that I trying to put them back and earn. Yeah. So those are the things that were, in terms of how I started with business. One of the things, we talking about business, to make sure that all people, whether you male, female, straight or non-straight, white, black, African American, Latina, Asian, Filipino, et cetera, all right? Is that we all must have and should have a part of participating into the business segment of our society. Because every person pays taxes. And when you pay taxes, you must take them able to receive it back. We must find ways of dealing with that. Most business people in Chicago and other places I know, when they want to do business, they think about just doing business in Chicago. What about doing business international? Yeah, what about international? The major corporations get all the business international. But the regular small business person that starts out, think about just Chicago, right in the neighborhood. We must focus on getting business international like the major corporation does also, as well as around the United States. As your mayor, we'll make sure we pass laws, we'll make sure we enforce things, and make sure that whatever contract that comes out, it has to reflect our citizens of the city of Chicago. You have me to fight, and you won't even have to pay me for it, all right?
Hello, everybody. I'm attorney Brunel Donald Shea. I'm a criminal defense lawyer here in Chicago, and I've been practicing law for about 20 years. The first thing I wanted to say, just a statement before my question, is that the peacefulness in the room is clear. There's no negativity in here. Everybody here wants to see a change agent. We all understand that we can't make it one without the other. And the divisive politics, the dividing the city up, dividing us one against the other, you can't stand. We want to stand as a city, as a community, Chicagoans. And so I wanted to thank you for a universal message. It's not about this one, black, white, man. You know, if my neighbor's in trouble, I'm in trouble. Because when that trouble's done over there, I'm right next door, and so on. And that's all throughout the city. Our city's in trouble. And so we need somebody in there that's gonna go in, a problem solver. And it's clear to me, just listening to you, that you're a problem solver. And we need doers and builders in there. And it's clear to me, from what I've heard so far, that you're a doer and a builder. And so I just wanted to say that. I wanted to just let you guys, I feel so amazing being here. And it's always, when you get that feeling like that, you know something good is going on, something great is happening. And so I just wanted to congratulate you on that, on your run announced. And I'd just like to say, you were talking about the youth, and poverty does not have a name. It does not care about race or color or creed. And so I'd like to know what type of opportunities are you going to bring back, like vocational training for our students who are not college bound. Everybody's not going to college. So we need those vocational programs in our neighborhoods, saturating our neighborhoods. You can go become a teacher, great, but there's nothing wrong with being an air conditioner, engineer, or someone like that too. Fixing things, plumbing, electrical, all that good stuff we all need every day. Can you bring that back to the city? Bring that back to our youth? Because we know idle hands are the devil's workshop. If our children are busy in apprentice programs, they don't have time to be shooting each other or you or me on the street.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate I appreciate your comments, and I appreciate your genuine, your sincerity. Those people who for real, you can feel it.
Yes.
All right. What would I do in terms of the youth? Whether they white, black, et cetera, Latina, it doesn't matter. I believe that what we have to do in terms of schooling, I would make sure that we put trades starting from the first grade have at least one or two trades. Right? And then I wouldn't just do it on my own, but I'll ask the citizens, and get their support. That if you're gonna graduate from 8th grade to 9th grade out of high school, that we must make sure you have to graduate with 2 trades. Right? So when you get out of school, or if you happen to drop out too, is that I'll make sure that once those persons master those particular trades, is that they can do business with the city of Chicago by way of contract. That way, that's empower the community. You don't have to go outside the community and look for other people in other states that come in your community, take the dollars out of your community, and doesn't care about your community.
That's right.
All right. I will also take in, for those who get into the prison system, I would take and put trade into the prison system. So that if you get out of prison, you paid your dues, you got a trade. Also making sure that you get a second chance, third chance, fourth chance, that you get out, that you are entitled to having a contract with those billions and billions of dollars for the city of Chicago. That to me makes sense. I do not expect for someone to come into my community or your community that to do what you're going to do for your community, that live overseas investment, or you live in another state, you from that community. We got to empower that community. I think a lot of these crimes come because the people trying to live off minimum wages, and you can't even pay for health insurance on minimum wages. So that causes problems. So I would say trade, get the support of the community to make sure that we can make it part of your graduation, But at the same token, we must have hands on. If I take this for example, if the Chicago Transit Authority, look, put an apprenticeship program in there. If the person would like being a mechanic, put them right in there. And let them use that and graduate. But when they do it, you have a grant there so they can get into business and take care of themselves and take care of the family. The situation is that I care about our community. Chicago is my town and our town. I don't let anybody come in here and mess it up. We must fight for each one of our neighborhoods from a sincere heart. In order for one to really be successful in terms of helping other people, one must make sacrifice for himself that they don't want. If they don't want for themselves, then you help others freely. I'm that person. I don't want nothing for self. My family and I is okay. We don't want nothing for ourselves, but it is time for us to take and give back. We give back 100% of all the money that we make to the community. And we will continue to do that, And so, but that's what we would do. But we always first go to the community and get input from the community. Another way of doing it is setting up the task force that having people representation from each community to have input.
Beautiful.
That way, if you got input, if you're locked down in a situation, you won't have that miscommunication. If you got input from the community, and we'll come out to all 7 communities, and we'll work those particular ways and work it out. The crime situation is must stop, will stop, gonna stop.
All right.
Okay.
Anybody has any more questions?
Dr. Wilson, a lot of people who are homeless and doing time in jail and prison have mental illness, and that has not been realized, and instead they've been criminalized. As mayor, is there a way that you can make it so that the mental health needs of the people are attended to first before they get criminalized or before they lose their homes? How can we address the mental health crisis?
I think you gotta address that. Good question. I think you gotta address that this way, in my opinion. Is that if a person is mentally ill, that person should be treated by a doctor for help or something, but not thrown into the prison system. Right? We must open up clinics back up. The person shouldn't have to go to Cook County to go in jail to get help for mental illness. Right? We must open up those 5 or 6, 26 mentally ill institutions and put people in there and pay them well to make sure they're trained. Now, look, people say I'm mentally ill too, all right? but they say I'm mentally ill because we give so much.
Give all the money.
Right. Some people say I'm mentally ill, right? But that's a good mentally ill.
Yes, sir.
Right. But so we open up those clinics back up, you know. But we also making sure that the people who's running there, we still have to get input from the community as well. Because you can set a place over here and you still do not have the expertise to work with that particular person. Right? Like give you a case in point. I fought for religion freedom. I put $1 million up to anybody taking the state of Illinois for religion freedom if they got a ticket. Well, look, the church, in my opinion, is that can maybe be more qualified to help that particular person than just a clinic being opened up. If I have to go to Pastor Shondo Church, for example, if I got a problem, and I'm sick because I lost my parents or something of that nature, well, he's a minister. I go there and he talks to me about the Lord can restore me. Well, he'll counsel me in terms of, so I may come out of there and don't want to commit suicide no more. Because the church have given me the hope that I needed.
That's it.
So what you have to do, you have to also set up the mental ill clinic into the neighborhood too, but you also don't forget about our churches, all right? Because if I'm sick, I think the doctor told me one time when I had the prostate cancer, said I was going to die. 15, 20 years ago, I'm still alive. If I'm dead, all of us in here is dead right now. You know? Where's my hope come from? It came from going to the church and hearing the pastor speak the word. So my point is this, is that the Mental Ill Institute should be in our churches, in our community center, and in other places as well. Our churches in all these communities, why can't a person go to their church and get mental ill help in the community they live in without having going across town who do not have the money to pay to catch a bus, do not have the money to pay to get $3 a week of food allowance? We must invest into our people and our citizens first. Yeah. We must take this situation just as we took, we must deal with this situation like we deal with COVID-19. I take every situation we deal with our citizens like we do COVID-19. It ain't that we don't have the money, but we just don't have the heart or don't care about doing it. If you can find the money for COVID-19, you can find the money for your citizens. You know, that's how we would deal with this problem. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to just take a little break and then we're going to come back. The second part of our town hall is going to be questions that are led. And we want you to start thinking about this. As an example, Dr. Willie Wilson just referred to churches. You know, 89% of Polish in the Chicagoland area attend to a Catholic church. Now, whether or not they attend every Sunday, we don't know. We should. But the point is, 89%, we know that church is important to the Polish community. Secondly, since you are here as business women, how did COVID affect you? We want to know how COVID affected you and what you thought or think should have been done and what you'd like to see happen under the new administration with Dr. Willie Wilson as the mayor. And then thirdly, now this is a big issue in the Latin American country, and it might be a big issue in your community. How will the recent immigrant, whether they're from Latin America, but in your case, it might be some country in Europe, whether it's the Ukraine, Russia, Poland, how can they be a part of the assimilation of our society here in this great city of ours? We all know that Chicago has been a welcoming city to the Slavic-speaking community. And we all know of the great importance that you play as a representative of the Slavic-speaking country of origin. But how will that be protected, cared for, guided by a new administration? So we're just going to take a couple minutes. In fact, please don't leave, don't move. We're just going to take a bit of a break, and then we're going to come right back. Okay? All right.
Me